слышали, многие не слышали. Но самое интересное то, что они расскажут вам немножко о других вещах, не о тех, которых вы привыкли слышать. Не обязательно там, о роутинге, о свитчинге, а о тех вещах, которые чем дальше, тем более не востребованы. Это безопасность и это дополнительные сервисы, как вы можете на них зарабатывать. Я хочу вам представить Мирослава Мищенко, это Channel Account Manager Fortinet в Украине, и это Роберт Dabrowski из компании Fortinet. Мирослав скажет, как правильно точно должность называется. Передаю микрофон Мирославу.
Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги. Представляю Роберта. Роберт — инженер компании Fortinet, отвечает за Украину, Польшу, Беларусь. Имеет большущий опыт работы с сервис-провайдерами в других странах, поэтому мы пригласили Роберта, чтобы он сделал вам презентацию и поделился тем опытом, который у него есть. Роберт будет читать презентацию на английском языке, к сожалению, он не успел выучить русский. Если у вас есть вопросы, я предлагаю их задавать во время кофе-брейка, чтобы мы не отнимали время у коллег, которые будут читать презентации за нами. Я знаю русский, я знаю английский, если что, задавайте их мне, я переведу вопрос. Спасибо.
So hello everybody, my name is Robert Dabrowski. I work as a system engineer at Fortinet. My main role is support guys like Miroslav, our space guys, and also our partners. During my presentation, I will tell you a bit Fortinet as a company and our approach towards service provider network security. I will focus mainly on our two products, FortiGate and Fortinet, which were successfully implemented in many service provider projects. I have a big practical experience with these projects. I'm taking part in the moment in some, I think, interesting topics which will be able to be discussed outside. But anyway, Fortinet is 11 years old company. For 2 years has been present on New York Stock Exchange, and we are, of course, a worldwide company with more than 1,300 of employees. What's interesting, more than half of this number are engineers. There are threat researchers, there are software developers, technical support engineers like myself. Even during the work crisis, we are growing because our solutions are attractive for the partners to do business with them, and of course for the customers when more intelligent services are necessary. Integration and performance. The integration performance can help us to lower the cost of the network infrastructure and of course to simplify these networks. The multi-layer security has become the right direction because I think that you will agree with me that pure firewall can no longer deliver the kind of reliable protection which would be desired by all of us and of course by the users and the customers of our networks. In addition to those two, integration performance, we introduced the third one, which is the third one, the last but of course not least. It is virtualization. That means that we can divide our products, our solutions, into separate logical entities, which then can deliver the services, for example, for our network segment, for our departments, or for our customers, if we are just carrying the packets through, for example, our data center, and providing them edge services. So we are a UTM, Unified Security Market leader, with almost 17% market share. You can find this information in different authorities reports like IDC, Gartner. Centralized management platform, and Fortinet collects, then stores, allows to filter, to search to the logs, and generate reports, either on your real-time manner or just based on the historical data. Some other products like Forti Bridge, Forti Balancer, and Forti Switch help us to build more comprehensive offers in complicated deals. So they are like to achieve comprehension. So deep packet inspection is a key to build next generation firewall, because if you want to really want to keep malicious traffic, the attackers, the malicious content away from our network, we have not only look at the firewall item, at the TCP UDP ports, but also at the applications which are going to the internet pipe. If there are any threats, any malicious content, if there are any attempts of attacks, and of course at the visited websites, because very often the first stage of defense for the protected network is just disallowing to browse the potentially dangerous site. So this is very important to remember that blocking or just allowing single port doesn't bring the real protection. We can just cut the port 80, but who can do this on the edge of the internet? I think that it is impossible. To do this inspection in real time and with invisible delay, we have to, for today's throughput, we have to use the dedicated hardware. Especially these UTM features, acceleration, require a really sophisticated technology. Because in order to be able to offload the application control, the intrusion prevention systems, antivirus scanning, and IP version 6, we have to use modules which are with service processor. Just talking briefly about the two others, content processor is the processor which helps the main CPU to scan the content. Network processor is a chip which is responsible for acceleration of pure firewall traffic and doing encryption for FortiSec. FortiOS delivers intelligence to the powerful hardware, and if we want to achieve network visibility, it can be just achieved out of the box. In many FortiGates, this equipped with some kind of storage, but now even the small boxes like 60C have some storage inside. But as I mentioned before, FortiAnalyzer is a dedicated platform for achieving the full visibility of the network and storing the data for a longer time. But if you ask me about the integrity between smaller devices and the high-end one, I will tell you that the only difference is performance. Almost all features are common for all the gateways, and if you learn how to deal with so-called device, you will also manage 3,000 or 5,000 servers. These ones which can do firewalling with hundreds of gigabits per second, because the GUI and the CLI are completely the same. What's most important in that case is just the network design. It's just to define our needs, define the services which we would like to implement, and the expectations for the performance. Our customers are biggest custom companies all over the world. You can find in this list the very known brands from almost all the branches. I mainly focus on telco customers and big enterprises. We do care about our customers to feel comfortable, confident that they use the most efficient solution. It is very crucial in security. That's why we acquire and constantly renew certifications for our products, for our features from both governmental and independent authorities like ICSA labs, like NSS, Virus Bulletin 100. Because security features only can be efficient if they are constantly tested, constantly stress tested against the efficiency. They can really deliver us the feeling that we are safe to the extent, to the most possible extent in the market. FortiGuard distribution network mentioned before, delivering services for our devices, for our systems. In fact, it is a backend for devices. Why? It is a front end of our laboratories. Because within these laboratories, inside Fortinet, all the features are developed. So this assures that they are well integrated and work together. Customers have a single point of contact if they need assistance, or for example, new features to be developed. So let's now move to the personalized security services delivered by FortiGate. And these slides will be based on my job experience. So I will be talking just to some extent in theoretical way, but the stories will be based from the real time. So if you have a look at service provider network, we have like two cases here. It's the infrastructure and the networks which belong to our customers and are connected then on top to service provider network. We will be talking about the infrastructure, the speed infrastructure later on. But what we can use here is virtualization. Because imagine that you have a data center and in your location you're just delivering services, internet access for your customers. And if you want to give them value-added services, like security services, like firewall or UTM, even, you can divide the boxes, the FortiGate boxes into virtual domains, which are separate logical domains. You can then designate administrators for them, and it looks like a completely separate system. Even more, on top of this, we have FortiManager, FortiAnalyzer, on which we create administrative domains to which we can then assign either the whole FortiGate boxes or just virtual domains on these boxes. And this is how many security service providers use our solutions all over the world. They are Vodafone, they are T-Mobile, Orange, Bell.com, many Sprint, SFR in the States, so the biggest really telcos in the world. It's easy to apply security services in static network environment. But imagine that you have a nice Cisco or Juniper BRAS implemented in your network. And this is integrated with radios. When the customer logs in, he retrieves from the radios system the IP, which can be assigned to this specific customer. So then, if we have a radius infrastructure, then we can send radius accounting messages. If the provisioning portal or policy server collects this information during the customer logs in on accounting packet start, the provisioning portal can look into the database what service package should be applied to this specific customer, and then FortiGate can store this subscriber context, which is aligned to the service provider database. We can choose the attribute which will be storing the profile, and here is the profile child. It means that, for example, profile child is described on the FortiGate in that way that there is very strict web content filtering profile is antivirus profile is intrusion prevention systems, and only some applications are allowed. Maybe some like, just example, Facebook video is not allowed. So for this we need this deep packet inspection, and again the integration to the service provider database in order to be able to apply personalized package for this subscriber. If you can remember my slide about hardware acceleration, it works in this way that only identified subscribers, just these for whom the radius packets were sent to the FortiGate, they have assigned UTM resources. Everyone else who is not identified goes to the next firewall policy, and then his traffic is offloaded, and CPU is used only during the session establishment, like free retention, for example, in case of TCP. And so, if you are at home, we have default very strict web content filtering profile, thinking about our children browsing the internet. We can override this limitation, telling our username and password, and then the cookie is installed in our browser, and we can browse the internet without limits, while our son sitting in the next room have these limitations applied. We can imagine that if we have a strong development team and if we engage a system integrator, we can let the customer choose their own service packages on the web portal, on customer web portal, because it's just a matter of changing the database. And then, if this is changed, if the service is changed, if you then log in to the network, then you're identified again, and the service provisioning portal, policy server, and then FortiGate knows that now for your sections different packages should be applied. And now it may be even more interesting scenario, because that is on what I'm working on now for one of the biggest telco, or global telco. I cannot say the name because it was their innovation to just introduce the service. If we turn around our position and imagine that we want to control not only the traffic going from the subscribers, but also to the subscribers, because they are sharing towards the internet some kind of resources like web cameras, file server, or just allowing remote control of garden equipment. So then we have to enforce these kind of rules within so-called identity-based policy within the FortiGate. So this works in this way that if you are a customer and you want to share some of your resources, you have to connect to the provisioning portal and first create groups and say, group 1 has access only to web camera, group 2 has access only to remote control of the garden equipment, group 3 has access to all my resources, and then you have to say, for group 1 can belong Robert, for group 2 can belong Miroslav, for group 3 can belong only, I don't know, my mom or someone else. And then this traffic coming from the internet is enforced on the FortiGate within identity-based policy. And we have two different cases here. If these are, for example, our customers which were identified earlier, we can then do it seamlessly, very quickly and in a single sign-on manner. But if they are internet users, they first have to identify themselves. So I mean, log in some kind of a portal and say that I'm logged in, so and I will want to access specific resources on the other side. So in this scenario, we can control both incoming and outgoing traffic. We can apply NAT. if network address transmission, if necessary, and just enforce those tools. But we have to remember that if we are a service provider, we have to possess a strong development team to introduce the kind of services, or just rely on third-party suppliers like system integrators. Personally, in each project of that kind, I work with system integrators, who have dedicated development teams for that kind of purposes, and of course the team of very skilled engineers to deliver expected service library-driven services. So that was very brief about personalized services delivered by the FortiGate. I really count that you will come to us and we'll talk about more details later on. Let's now move to the general infrastructure. So we have a very vast range of features for that purpose. The first one is application level gateway for SIP firewall, aware of the SIP control messages, and of course aware of the SIP traffic. We can apply sanity check. We can control if the message are not malformed. We can apply some measurements just to limit the number of messages in specific period of time. We can provide hosted NAT traversal and allow to install the SIP server or use SIP clients in many topologies and in many architectures. FortiGate is very often chosen by the IMS service providers and of course the customers, because application level gateway for SIP is present in every FortiGate. It means that for small home offices we can implement smaller box. For the central side of the organization we can implement the medium one, and for the edge of the service provider we can choose the biggest ones. The second one is SCTP, Stream Control Transmission Protocol, because when the TDM words and IP meet each other, some control mechanisms are necessary. Personally, I have a big experience with one of the biggest vendors with TDM technologies. Then I moved to IT and finally landed on security. But this is an example that this former experience is still very useful for me, because now it is very popular to transition from TDM towards IP when carrying number 7 signalization. And if it is IP, we need a firewall here. I think that you will all agree with me. That means that on this page we control not only TCP and UDP, but also SCTP messages. So FortiGate is a stateful SCTP device, SCTP firewall, aware of the SCTP syntax, controlling the source and destination and other parameters of the packets, and creating sessions on firewall, just like for TCP or UDP. The difference between TCP and SCTP is that SCTP is 4-way handshake instead of 3-way handshake like in case of TCP. For typical mobile, we have again dedicated features in order to stop viruses on different points in the interconnection, or to the internet, to the other MMS providers, value-added services, and of course to the MMS, between MMS center and the customers. And we can stop, and we are doing this in many telcos. We can stop malicious content, and instead of this, if someone tries to send a virus or just unintentionally try to download the virus, we can configure the system in this way that these traffic parties will receive so-called notifications that the content which was tried to be uploaded or downloaded was infected. So this is MMS for mobile, and in mobile infrastructure, at some stages the traffic is tunneled within GPP protocol, GPS tunneling protocol between SGSNs and GGSNs and between the roaming partners. And we can look at this traffic flow while the traffic is still tunneled. I mean, we can provide filtering on tunneled packets, we can provide IPS, DOS protection for that point of interconnection in the mobile packet switch domain. And now we will smoothly move to the Fortinet, which I think is also very important for you to know what we can do here, because we have really many projects in telco like this. The first example is, for example, if you are a hosted mail service provider. It's you have your message transfer agents transporting your mail, the mail of the customers connected to your network. So if you already are the kind of provider, you can think of delivering secure hosted mail services. So all you have to do is to just change your domains of the customers MX DNS records, just pointing towards Fortinet, working in a gateway mode as a regular message transfer agent, and then use the very vast sophisticated features of Fortinet to stop the spam, stop the viruses, archive the mail if you want. At the same time, you can check the outgoing traffic, just protecting your customers' reputation, not allowing to send out spam to the internet. On Fortinet, again, you can create many domains, so it's like kind of a virtualization. That you have many customers, and if you even buy 2 boxes to have the high availability applied, you can on a single cluster of Fortinet create many domains which are protected in the backend. And the second example, which is really unique for Fortinet and Fortinet product, is the protection against blacklisting. Because this is usual scenario which I meet very often in both small, medium cable providers, but also in big telco players, GSM or DSL ones, that if they assign public IP addresses for their customers, and some of the customers become parts of the botnet and send out spam, then their IP addresses are being blacklisted. And if the legitimate user tries to get the same IP address and tries to send email, he receives notification. We cannot deliver your email because your IP address was blacklisted. Believe me, it's very annoying for the customer, and lowers customer experience. It has a horrible impact. We have many projects like this. One example can be the biggest mobile ISP in Poland, which I serviced and I implemented these projects when I worked for this integrator, which delivered these services. And this is like it's not a value-added service. It's like a must sometimes, because we are just going around and sending this message that we have that kind of solution. And sometimes the service provider says, "Oh, I don't have money for that, for these services. What's the added value?" A month after, 2 months after, I got a call that if we can meet because we have a problem with blacklisting. So I can tell you about the example. For example, you have 1,000 users, and so you're sending out some amount of spam. And so, how do you think? How many users out of 1,000 send 90% of spam? It's 5 in average. So we can again integrate Fortinet working in transparent mode, invisible for other mail traffic parties. We can again integrate with radius and track the subscribers' IDs. So that's why we can catch the ones who are parts of botnets. And what we can do next? We can block sending mail for them at all. Of course, the log is generated, the alarm is generated, and we can just kindly inform the customer, dear customer, please clean up your PC. Or if we want to make money on this, we can just offer our services to clean up PC. It's just an idea, but this is how it works. And this happens in, let's say, very well-developed countries. We have these projects in Germany, in UK, in the States. But also we have that kind of projects in Egypt, in some other countries of Africa, in South Africa, almost everywhere. No, so I think it's for you. It's good to know that that kind of solution exists. What we do, we policy route only port 25 to the Fortinet. We get rid of spam sending out, and the problem with blacklist is solved. So simple as that. Working in many environments. What happened? Oh, there is still problem with sending spam. And here is a Fortinet working in transparent mode, just protecting from sending out spam. We are today and tomorrow on the conference with my colleague Mirosław, so please come to us and we can talk about further details, more details about these features, the possibilities of creating the projects of delivering the services to the network, because as I told you, these slides were not theoretical, but this was about the real experience from the real life, from the real project. So at this point I would like to thank you very much and just apologize that I didn't speak Russian or Ukrainian, but I understand Russian because I'm that old that I was learning Russian at school, so offline we can try, but I wasn't prepared to give the presentation in Russian. So thank you very much again, and I hope to see you and talk to you later. Thank you very much.